Bookaholics, it's Isabel. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing my May wrap-up, which is going to be a bit of a long one because not only am I talking about books, I'm going to be talking about the TV shows I watched and the movies I watched. As I said in my video that my channel is changing, I mentioned that I was going to be talking about more movies and TV shows. So that is what's happening. I'm sorry about the lighting. I feel like the lighting is a little bad. We have overcast today and it's been overcast this last week, and like I really hurt my neck when I was sleeping because I think I was sleeping on it wrong, and like I could barely move on Thursday, was it? And then Friday it was a little bit better, but not really, and today it still has a little bit of a kink in it. So I haven't been able to do a video, but I really want to actually do my wrap up because I have my wrap up, my book haul, I have my TBR, I have some book tags I have to do, I have some things I want to do, mention my books, and it's like I have way too many videos that I don't think I'm going to be able to concentrate on this one tomorrow with all the other ones, because tomorrow is supposed to be a nice day. So I have to do this one today. So let's just get right into it. The first two books I read this month was The Mark of Athena and The House of Hades by Ricky Riordan. I didn't read these ones back to back, but because they're in the same series, I want to talk about them together. So The Mark of Athena, I think I gave it a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I did read most of the audiobook of this one. I did kind of intersperse reading from the book, but it was mostly audiobook. I did enjoy it, not as much as I liked Son of Neptune. I'm not even too sure why. And then The House of Hades, I just read the audiobook for this one. I was kind of reading along every once in a while, but I mostly just read the audiobook. This one was fun. I really liked that we got us going to Tartarus, because we never saw it before, and I really enjoyed seeing that, and I really liked seeing how the other characters were all trying to get to this door for them to help Percy and Annabelle. That might have been a spoiler. I'm sorry. I spoiled you. I can't talk about these ones at all. I can't talk about them. But just know that I gave both of these 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next one I read in May was Love Letters to the Lost. This is the library one I took out. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think I enjoyed reading this one. I really liked the idea of writing letters to people who she admired and people who she really liked who end up dying either young or somehow. But I didn't quite connect to the character very well. I don't know, I just didn't quite connect to it in some ways that other people have. This one follows a girl who her sister passed away, I think about a year ago, and she's starting at a new school because she feels it'll be too hard going to the same school that her sister did. So she's at a new school and she falls for this guy and she kind of gets into this new friend group. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It just follows her as she's writing letters to the dead because it was an assignment that she had, and she just kept on at it, and she's just trying to finally grieve for her sister. That was the other book I read this month. Next book I read was a reread. It was 20th Girl by Sophie Kinsella. This one, again, is a reread. I really love this book. I've been picking up all of Sophie Kinsella's ones that I've already read, and I've been really loving it, but I read this one and I remembered why it was my #1 Sophie Kinsella. I was like, when I went into this, I was like, I'm not too sure if this is gonna be my favorite one. It still is. The other ones I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This one I gave 5 out of 5 stars because I just love it. It's so good. I just absolutely love this one. So this one follows a girl named Laura, and she is going through like a little bit of a crisis. Her boyfriend just broke up with her, and she's kind of not dealing with that right. She feels like she can still get him back, and then she goes to her great auntie's funeral and she ends up meeting her ghost, and they go on to this wild goose chase of finding this necklace, and it's fun. Like, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's just so amazing. I really love it. And another thing, Laura, she just started her own business with a friend who kind of just ditched her, so she's trying to figure all that out. If you ever want to read a Sophie Kinsella one, I'd highly recommend picking up 20th Girl first because it's just freaking amazing. I love it, and I'm just so happy it is still my #1 favorite Sophie Kinsella book of all time. Next book I read was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I haven't read a lot of fantasy, but I've been kind of in the area of not really caring for contemporaries. Like, some of the contemporaries I've picked up in the past haven't been my favorite, so I was kind of interested in picking up a fantasy, and I really enjoyed this one. It was still a 3 out of 5 star. I wasn't like connected to it, but it was like just a fun read. I read it really quickly. I read it in like 2 or 3 days. It pretty much follows a girl who her and her 2 sisters are taken to the fairyland. Pretty much the girl Jude, she is very committed to getting into knighthood in the fairyland, while her one sister is all gung-ho on getting back into the human world, while her other sister is kind of wanting to lay low and kind of marry into the fairies and kind of make a life in that way. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. It is fun. I really did enjoy it, but it wasn't like my favorite. My next one I read was Leia on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. I was a little bit disappointed by this one. When I first read it, I rated it 3.75, but I have changed that since. It's now a 3 out of 5 stars for me. It was a fun read to read. I really enjoyed that. I read it in 2 days, but following Leia, she was just a little bit whiny, and like I didn't really connect to her in that way. She still had like a bit of spunk that I really liked, but there was time where I just didn't care for her as a character. But there's also aspects that this book didn't go into. I'm not going to talk about those. You can actually look into the vlog I did. I'll put it up here. I'm not going to talk about too much of what happened here. I was a bit disappointed by this book. I was really looking forward to it. I was really excited to get back into the Creekwood High world and everything, and don't get me wrong, I love the Simon and Blue moments. It was like the best. It wasn't up to the same level as Simon vs. Homo sapiens Gender or The Upside Down Unquieted, so I had to bring it down to 3 stars. Next books I read were for the Scallywagathon. I'll also put up a link to my Scallywagathon vlog. The first book I read was The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. I enjoyed reading this one. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars again. It was fun. I really liked learning about how Narnia was created. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I do want to continue with the series, but I just didn't quite like get totally into it, you know? Like I did read in one day because it was short, but there's times when I was reading this that I just like had to stop. Like, okay, I'm done reading. Even though it was a short book and I should have been able to read in one sitting, I just couldn't. Next book I read, which, oh my god, I love this book so much. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This book was amazing. People have been raving about it and I totally understand why. It was such a fantastic book. I loved it so much. The detail and the world building and everything that Tomi put into this was just fantastic and amazing, and I really loved it. The characterization, the kind of different point of views were all used really well, so you got a full aspect of the world. You got to see through Zeeley's eyes, you gotta see through Amari, you gotta see through Inian, and like all those perspectives. Like sometimes when you're reading a book and they have different perspectives, sometimes you don't understand why you were following that person, but in this one, following each person was so, like, you had to follow those 3 people in this book. Like it just made this world so much greater. The characters were just so well developed, and I really love this book. I am gonna be doing a non-spoiler review for this book. I haven't done it yet, so I'm hoping to get to it soon. Again, the weather hasn't been my friend, and I just haven't been able to do videos, so I'm hoping to get that done soon, so I'm not going to talk too much about this one yet. And the last book I read this month was Picture Us in the Light by Kelly Lloyd Gilbert. I think I gave this either 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. So I really did enjoy this book. It is a contemporary and I liked it. I loved it. It was so good. This one was a bit of a complicated one. Like it is an LGBTQ book, but like that isn't like the main thing. Like it's not even like a coming out kind of story. It's not anything like that. Like he's not out. So yeah, it's another day because my camera decided to not record some of my video because it's an asshole. After it didn't work, the lighting was bad anyways, and I was just like, I'm done. I decided to wait until the day because I knew it was gonna be nice today, so I'm gonna finish it here. When my video ended, I was on this book, so I'm just gonna start with this one. Picture Us in the Light by Kelly Lloyd Gilbert was my next book that I read, and I really enjoyed this book. The family dynamic in here was so complex and just so well done that it was so good. Like this is a mystery pretty much, because it follows a boy named Danny and his parents are very mysterious. They have things they don't really tell him, and like other things that come up, and it's a complicated issue. He's found papers, he doesn't know what it is about, and he asks them and they get mad at him for asking. It's really good. I really enjoyed this book. The main story of this is family complexity and like the son trying to figure out what the family is about, why they're they're so mysterious. But in the background, there's also LGBTQ themes in it as well. Danny is gay, like, throughout the whole novel. It doesn't actually say that he is, but, like, there's hints that he is. The theme of that is so woven in here well that it doesn't take away from the story. Like, the story is mainly Danny and his family, but in the background, that is who he is. It adds just a little bit to the story and adds just a little bit of that heart to it. So yeah, I really enjoy this one and I end up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. So now I'm gonna get on to the TV shows and movies. Literally, last time I did this, I was talking to the camera about all these, and I was pretty much talking to no one because if the camera's not rolling, you're talking to no one. The first TV show I finished this month was Friends. I love Friends. I have rewatched this show so many times. It is such a iconic show because, like, as I watch it, I know pretty much every single line. I can say it word for word and then I'll laugh. Like, that is how good this show is. Like, I have never watched a sitcom that I can watch over and over and over again and still laugh at the jokes. Friends is the one that is just so great that you can watch it as many times as you want and you will never get sick of it. Like, it is that good, and like, I love the characters. I still get so hard-eyed over Monica and Chandler. They're my favorite, but like, it's still just like such a good show. Even the theme song, it's just all so freaking fantastic, and I just love this show. Like, I can watch it over and over again. Next TV show I watched was Shadowhunters Season 3. This show, I have a love and hate relationship with this show because sometimes this show is so spot on that I just love it. And then sometimes I'm like, what in the f*** are you doing? Just the finale. The finale was a 2-hour finale and I loved it. But there were some things in this finale that I was like, why? Why did you choose to show this information through this way? It makes no sense. If you just thought about it, you could figure out a better way to present this information to us. Not through this. This makes no sense. But then there are scenes that is just so great that I just cry. Like, there's this one scene, I'm not gonna talk about the scene because that's spoilers, but there was this one scene that I just, oh my god, it was so emotional and so heartbreaking, and oh my god. I'll be honest, when I first started watching this show, the first 3 episodes were so brutal that I was considering not continuing with this show. But then Alec and Magnus came in and they started getting like a relationship, and even though the first season was very bad, I still watched it for those particular scenes because Magnus and Alec are just my honeys, okay? They are the main reason I continue with the show. They are the main reason why I still continue with this show and stick through all the really stupid scenes that really should not exist. But what can you do? You can't do anything about it. So let's just say that Shadowhunters is my guilty pleasure, and I will probably watch this until it's done. So let's just keep it at that. Next TV show I watched was Riverdale. So Riverdale, oh my god. Okay, so this show, I don't have like a love-hate relationship with it like I do with Shadowhunters because Shadowhunters is based on a series that I absolutely love. Riverdale, though, I never got into the comics, so I didn't have that personal feeling toward it, but this show is also pretty much just ridiculous. And like, I love the characters, I love the drama, but sometimes it's like, what is going on? I have no idea what they're doing. Why are they doing this? Where did this come from? It just came out of left field. What is going on? And I love it. I love the drama. I love the ridiculousness of it. I don't even know what to call it. That's how good it is. I don't know what to call it. I have nothing else to say. If you haven't watched Riverdale, I say give it a shot. Get through those moments where you're just like, and you'll be fine. You will enjoy it. The last TV show I watched this month was the Mindy Project season 6, I think. I've been watching the Mindy Project for a while, and I just love this sitcom so much. Like, I just love the romances, and I just love the don't really give a frick that Mindy brings into the show. Like, I just love her, like, girliness, and I love her romances that just end up going somewhere, and I just love this show. It's funny. So many things just happen, and it's just funny, and I just like it. And there's one particular couple that I just love, and if you watch this, you might love them too, and you might know who I'm talking about. But like, I'm not gonna talk about it 'cause spoilers, but like, it's just so cute. I love this show. It's so fun, and like, I've been kind of putting off watching this because I haven't been watching TV as much, and like, I have so many shows I have to catch up on. It's kind of ridiculous, but like, I'll eventually get to them, maybe. But that's the last TV show I watched this month. Now, movies. The first movie I watched this month, which I'm not too sure if it was because I wasn't keeping track of what movies I watched until I thought about adding the movies and TV shows to my channel. The first one I remember I watched this month was Coco. Now, this is probably like the 4th or 5th time I watched it, but my sister never watched it, so I had to make her watch it. And this movie is so freaking great. I love that Disney is bringing more cultures into their movies. I don't know much about like Mexican religion or anything like that, but like the way they presented it, it seemed so authentic. I'm hoping it was. I know Disney does a lot of research. Like for their Inside Out movie, they did so many years of research for that with psychologists and stuff, so like, I'm assuming they did a lot of research for this as well. I love the culture that they presented in this movie, and it was just so fun, and I love the message about like being with your family and everything like that. Let me just say that Coco follows a boy who wants to be a musician, but his family are very much against that because the father, their great-great-grandfather or great-grandfather, I can't remember, he was a musician and he abandoned his family, so the family is just against that. So he ends up getting put into the afterworld somehow. I'm not gonna explain how, and goes through all this struggles to get back to life. So yeah, that was that one, and it was just fantastic, so I loved it. Next movie I watched was The Kissing Booth. So The Kissing Booth is based off the book by the same name. I never read it, but let's just say I really did enjoy this movie. Like, it was one of those just rom-com movies that are just so great, and it was just really fun. Like, it's not to put like a lot of thought into it. The romance was fine. It was fine. But the friendship between her and her best friend was just so authentic and genuine and just acted so well. I love their friendship. If I end up reading this book, it will be because of that friendship. It's not because of the romance. That was fine, but it wasn't my favorite part of the movie. But the friendship was. I just loved it so much. That what made the movie for me. I found the movie so adorable because of that friendship. That was the other movie I watched this month. Next movie I watched was Bewitched. This was a rewatch, and I hadn't watched this movie for a while, and it's just like a fun read. It pretty much just follows a girl who's a witch, and she wants to be human and not get things in a what's this called? Snap. Not get things in a snap. And she ends up getting hired by the people who are rebooting Bewitched. So she is a witch turned human turned witch. And it was fun. It has Will Ferrell in it, and I love Will Ferrell, so that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's just a fun movie. Next movie I watched was Autumn Dreams, which is a Hallmark movie, and Hallmark movies are the greatest. If you haven't watched a Hallmark movie, what are you doing? Go do it now. Hallmark movies are just so ridiculous and so well acted. It's acted so very badly, but it's like, it is spot on. They are just those movies that are just, they're like Harlequin books. Like, that's what they are, but in movie form. And they are just so great. So Autumn Dreams pretty much follows two characters. They elope when they're young, but then the dad disapproves and they get annulled. A few years later, they learn that they're still married, and they are currently both planning their own weddings. You know what happens after that. I don't have to explain it. Go watch Hallmark movies. They are freaking fantastic. They are predictable, but they are just so great that you just have to watch them all. Next movie I watched, which if you knew it came out this month, you're probably not gonna be surprised at all, but I watched Love, Simon because it came out in digital and I had to buy that so I can get it as soon as possible. And I watched it, and then I watched it again because it is just so good. I love this movie. I'm so freaking happy I finally own it. And like, if you don't know what Love, Simon is, what are you doing? Love, Simon is based on the book Simon vs. the Homo sapiens agenda, and it is the greatest movie. So just go watch it. Next movie I watched was 13 Going on 30. This is one of my go-to movies. If I don't know what to watch, this is one of the movies I will pick. This one follows a girl who's 13 and wishes to be 30 and somehow becomes 30 in a night. So then she has to figure out how her life got here and all this funness happens, and it's one of my favorite movies. So if you haven't watched this one, go watch it. Like every single movie on this list, go watch it because they are just fantastic. The last movie I watched this month was He's Just Not That Into You. This movie is also one of my go-to movies, not as much as 13 Going on 30, but it is still one I'll pick up. So this one follows a bunch of different people as they're trying to figure out their relationship, and some of them figure out why he's just not that into you, and some of them figure out that they're the exception, and it's cute. I have two couples that I just love in this movie. That's the last movie I watched this month, and like I didn't talk too much about these movies because like some of these are pretty old that people should know what they are. But that's it for this wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what books you guys read in the month of May, what TV shows you watched in the month of May, and what movies you guys watched in the month of May. I would love to know. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out my other social media accounts, my Facebook, Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram. I make a video every Monday and Thursday, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!